Hi there everybody. Today I just wanted to make a little video about my preparation for the upcoming D&D campaign. I've been working a lot trying to paint many different miniatures for it. So it's actually like an Eberron campaign, but it's not really only an Eberron, it's like the whole D&D universe or something. It's like Planescape and Greyhawk and, well, Eberron as well, so it's like Sigil and stuff like this. And there's going to be Spelljammer as well. So there's like so many different things all jammed together, and I've been making some props. I've been making a lot of different terrain and pieces and things like this. Like, you know, for example, I've made, well, not really made, but I've used one of the models of our Russian Bumaga, or Clever Paper company, which makes these kind of, you know, paper craft, cardboard craft miniatures. So this was actually our Russian suburban train called Plastichka or Ivolga, or I don't really remember. It's the name of a bird, basically. I don't really know what the name of this bird in English is, but so it was kind of white and red and, you know, things like this and these sorts of colors, and I repainted it to be sort of this metallic color to represent the trains in Eberron. Yeah, so I also used some kind of like cogs, things like this, you know, like certain little metal, well, yeah, like gears, I guess that's what it's called, right? To sort of add some cool details to certain terrain pieces and things like this. Now, I'm pretty tired of doing this. In front of me, there is like literally, you know, about 50 different minis that I have been painting. I wouldn't say that I'm a great painter. I'm quite lazy with my painting, but I still try to do it, you know, in a more or less okay way. So yeah, so currently I'm generally just painting like a lot of NPCs. Like, for example, you know, this sort of farmer miniature over here, trying to show this, right? Just a regular sort of farmer guy, you know, like an angry farmer who will basically like shout, "Get off my lawn, you damn meddling kids," or something. You know, this kind of beautiful lady mini who is like rushing from a library or something with many scrolls and books and things like that, maybe like a student of some magical university or something. Now, this is another mini that I'm painting right now, and I really want to finish it soon. This sort of kind of like a traveling merchant type of guy. Now, I decided to paint him orange, and his name will be an orange in my campaign, so it's going to be like a traveling merchant kind of, you know. I really want him to be a reoccurring character, you know, and I want him to be sort of likable and cool, but he's going to just sell different things to the player, and you might have some rare things as well to sell. Of course, since I'm playing an Eberron, I have some Warforged minis, like this sort of Warforged butler type of guy, you know, they look really, really cool, and I really like this. I do think, you know, these minis are very immersive. Another Warforged, this one is more of a paladin or a warrior thing type of character. Looks very, very cool, and he's quite big as well comparing to the other minis. He's really like, you know, 7 feet tall or something. So yeah, a lot of stuff. Now, generally, you know, in my campaign, the plan is to sort of briefly touch Eberron, specifically the city of Sharn, city of towers, and then move to Greyhawk and kind of do a lot of exploration there. I'm not sure exactly where it will lead us, but we'll see. I think it's gonna be quite a fun campaign. Now, it's nothing too sort of revolutionary, you know, it's classic D&D, but with this sort of twist of like a lot of different settings jammed together, which is again nothing too new to the world of D&D. Yeah, what else can I show you? I kind of repainted some of my elf miniatures, added some wash on their faces just to make it kind of stand out a bit more. Got some, like, you know, cool sort of elven rogues type of guys there. They look really, really nice as well. So yeah, you know, I mean, as a person who is kind of obsessed with minis, I sometimes notice that I tend to fall into this trap of like specifically making my story and the campaign and sort of all the environment for the player using the minis that I specifically have. So I am sort of limiting myself, but I just, you know, I just think that when you play and when you visualize everything, it really makes my life a lot easier, because I don't have to like describe many things. I don't have to really explain what's happening. Everything is very visible, right? If combat happens, the you know, the player knows where everything is. That's for starters. And I do actually visualize non-combat encounters as well. If I need to change the scene, I just say, okay, let's have a break, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, let's have a cup of tea, and, you know, let's jump right in. I will change some things. And I do generally try to prepare for every direction that the player might go. So I have, you know, my forest terrains, mountain terrains, some desert terrain, things like this. Many different minis. I do make some like characters in advance, so that I have some cool characters. If a player decides to, you know, go to a completely different place, I think that, okay, well, who can be here? And I just get some characters, put them there, and, you know, let my character play with those. Yeah, I even try to visualize spells. Now, I don't have too many things to show you for now, but I've actually just made this magic hand mini. So as you can see, right, it's like a little miniatures that actually represent the magic hand in the game. And to be fair, it's not really something that you would ever use, because magic hand is, well, sort of, I mean, it's not a spell that you sort of concentrate on for a long time in combat, for example. But I don't know, it just feels cool, you know, it feels cool to place another thing, another token on the board. and let your character sort of be completely immersed in this. So I do like this. I do like placing it. I want to make some minis, or maybe buy some 3D printed minis for like fire spells and maybe like ice wall and things like that. Yeah, so there's definitely this notion of like falling into this trap, right? Like, oh, you've got these minis, so you make a, you know, your campaign only with those minis, and, you know, kind of limited. And it might get repetitive because, you know, you want to use your goblins. You don't have anything else than other than goblins, for example. But I suppose nowadays I'm in a sort of situation where I can actually sort of put anything I want. And sometimes I substitute, you know, certain minis for other creatures, you know, and things like that. So I don't really feel limited. And so currently, and besides, like, anyway, you know, if I were to make an encounter, I would make it with some of the creatures that I personally like. And so basically I bought almost everything that I like. I don't think I actually have like you know, a monster or some sort of a creature that doesn't go into this kind of list of things that or monsters and encounters that I like. However, the only problem is, like, I don't have probably enough like character minis, so I don't have enough minis to represent like all the different class combinations and things like that. But the other problem is I don't have like enough minis to represent all the NPCs. So sometimes, of course, you substitute, right? You use the same mini for multiple NPCs. The problem is, you know, like, I guess I you know, this has never happened before, but sometimes, you know, my players tend to sort of, if I do solo sessions, you know, there is always a risk that your player might actually like some specific NPC and will associate sort of a mini with this specific NPC. So if you want to introduce another one, you cannot really use the same mini because it kind of ruins this, right? So yeah, but I suppose I have some more generic NPCs that kind of function as just any sort of guy, you know, just like any merchant or any innkeeper or something, right? But I also have, I mean, you know, I guess minis like this, like Orange, the wandering merchant, and I think he's definitely going to be sort of unique in this regard. Yeah, I've got a lot of Vikings now. Now the problem with Vikings that I'm having is that they kind of all use this sort of color scheme, which is like browny, orangey type of colors, and I mean, they look good, and especially when I wash them, you know, they will look quite nice, I suppose. But yeah, now a very, very cool mini that I really want to paint is these like clown minis, right? So like space clowns from Spelljammer. I started painting this clown. As you can see, I haven't done much, but yeah, he's like the boss, you know. It's like a 6-armed clown guy, brute, you know, and 2 of his arms are actually like stretching his smile. You can sort of take a look at this. I mean, it's terrifying. I've got this like sort of jester type of guy who plays with a set of cards. All of these minis, by the way, are 3D printed. They're very sturdy. You know, in Russia, you know, they are sold on our like internet marketplaces, kind of like Amazon, you know, or something like this. And they're quite cheap, I guess. They're like $1 each. I'm not sure what the currency is, but like, well, I mean, like, I get paid like about $14 an hour, maybe $15 an hour, right? And so it's sort of okay for me, right? Yeah, I don't, I mean, problem is I don't work too much time in a day. I mean, I don't work like 8 hours every day. I work about like 5 hours every day, except like Friday. So, I mean, but still, you know, it's like, it's not an issue to buy like, I don't know, 30, 40 minis every month. It's like, you know, it's nothing basically. It's like, you know, it's a money well spent, I say. So yeah. Now I also, of course, use the Vallejo paints. I have almost every single color of them, which are definitely very, very cool, nice paints. I do sometimes also use just some cheap paints, some acrylic paints, what you can buy from Russia. Like the black one works really well. You can mix it with anything, it's very strong. If I need to, you know, like paint the bases, for example, I do paint them in black first, and then I add some dry brush to add some sort of texture, things like that. Yeah. I mean, I generally try to just paint the minis to like a tabletop standard, you know? It's like, for example, like this goblin guy, I'm sorry, again, you cannot really see it, but it's like a goblin holding a sort of a potion that he's brewing. I mean, I don't really care if he looks realistic. I just, you know, I use at least 4, 5 different paints on a mini. I might add some wash to highlight certain things. Usually I use the, where's that? I use this Vallejo Game Color Umber Sombra wash, which is kind of like a dark brown wash. I really like how it looks. Basically, you know, I've never really learned how to use paints, how to paint minis, but what I've personally noticed is that you take a mini, you can paint it in just one color, maybe try to avoid certain places that will be light colored then, like the skin, for example, right? Try to avoid this, but you don't have to be too careful. Paint it into a specific color that you like, right? Or the color that the most mini will sort of use. And then start painting all the small details, right? And then even if you screw up sometime, you can come back and of course repaint some things, but sometimes you don't even need to be that accurate, because you just take the wash, you put some wash on your mini, and it just hides all the imperfections and it looks great. Like again, for example, this farmer, you know, like he had many sort of small problems, but I just washed him and now he looks great. You know, now he looks just like a, you know, like if you look at him from like more than 10 centimeters, he looks amazing. If you go closer, you can see sort of, you know, the like the stains of the wash a bit. Like I wouldn't sell this. I know that, you know, I wouldn't get profit from painting this like that. I don't have such a good skill, but it's definitely enough to be enough for the board. I do pay more attention to the player miniature, right? Because obviously, the player will look at themselves quite a lot and will use their own mini quite a lot. So I do try to make it as nice as possible. Sometimes, if a mini is more expensive, I do try to make it prettier. But generally, it just comes out as it comes out, I suppose. Nothing much to say. So yeah, another one. This one was actually, I think, from the Castle Ravenloft board game, which is a great. It's basically a board game. It's got like a big box. You've got about 42 minis there, including like a Dracolich and some zombies and skeletons and ghosts. Basically, all the gothic and undead minis that you need, just from one box. So if you're running Curse of Strahd, I would strongly suggest using something like this and buying Castle Ravenloft sort of board game, miniature board game. But I actually bought all of the 3 ones, so The Legend of Drizzt, Castle Ravenloft, and Wrath of Ashardalon, which was a great decision. Like, it kick-started my miniature collection with great minis that are very, very durable, because they just bend, like these ones. Again, they can basically like flex them. They will never break. You can throw them. Nothing is gonna happen to them. Might get some maybe problems with paint, I guess. It can chip off if you throw it too hard, but I've never had any of them break, even the thin bits, right? Because they're just made of this polythene or whatever material that just bends and doesn't break a lot. Some people say that's like, it's not that good to paint such minis. They have some problems with chipping, but I've never really experienced that. They're great. So yeah. And obviously, when you try to paint things, try to paint the ones you will use sooner first, right? This is my problem, I do paint a lot of minis that I will probably either use, not very soon or never. Or, I just paint them because I think they're cool, right? I have, for example, this mini of the Lady of Pain from Sigil, which is a great mini. Now, I will paint her, to the best of my ability, because she will play a role in my campaign. I'm not sure how big of a role, but still, it's like a mini that I would like to actually introduce into the campaign, and I mean the character, not the mini. Yeah, I honestly, I really hope to get maybe 5 or 7 more finished tonight. Not really sure if I will be able to do it, but we'll see, right? Anyways, thank you for tuning in. I'll try to get back to you with some more ASMR videos, maybe some reading, maybe some talking and discussions, but currently I just want to sort of do some final bits in order to get this campaign started and be prepared. So yeah, thank you so much for coming. Hope you have a lovely night, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. See ya.